Hi, how are you going today? I'm just continuing with perspective in the ministry framework at the moment. So I need a solid constitution for the authorities. So it took some deep thinking, and this is the process that I'm going through at the moment. So you have to ask yourself, what's your perspective on where you're placed in life? Do you stop and appreciate what you have with feeling? A roof over your head, a house that's well planned out and works, spiritual protection, your natural connection to the divine. And sometimes it takes a certain lifestyle to appreciate what I have. For example, doing a lot of travelling in my motorhome, I'm off grid often. So when I come back, I appreciate water so much. I bless it. To have a hot shower and just have the bathroom there and everything easy, constant hot water. You know, the luxury of a bed, to come home to a really comfortable bed. The simple things in life. I think we've got to go back to some simple things and learn to appreciate those. Being in control of your life is something that I also give gratitude to. Eating simply, then appreciating dining out at a lovely restaurant. The difference in attitude between yearning for something and appreciated remembrance. You know, another thing that came up, what is your time out? I can spend hours in the garden watching things grow after creating a lovely place to sit, connecting to the plants and the bugs, the trees. We are all nature, and we care for each other in different ways. Like the trees give shade, they have an essence, they have faces in them. I've noticed in my contemplation. The flowers give joy. The insects show life in abundance. You know, they're things that I appreciate. Yeah, I really think if an insect bites, put repellent on or grow repellent flowers. It's not really a big issue. So the other question was, does society tend to whinge and complain for conversation's sake? You know, you really need to connect with your inner self, because that's connecting with your Holy Spirit. Time with yourself or sharing simple things in life is a joy. Being by yourself is also a wonderful time to reflect on life's perspectives. And this is my time that I reflect on ministry. You know, so we need to reflect on important things. Does your life have a balance to appreciate solace sometimes, then appreciate the people you've surrounded yourself with at other times? Freedom is choosing what you think. Whether you share what you think or not is up to you. So what you choose to share is up to you also. So how you choose to feel about things is also up to you. You know, your mind is private. It's solely yours. Our reality pretty much stems from thought, then putting one step in front of the other to gradually make reality. So we choose how we handle situations, what we think, how we act, and when. Do people react feeling the need to stand up for themselves to a point it's a trend? How people react is a direct reflection on oneself. If someone is mean for no reason, do you take an emotional reaction, or do you see it as that reflects on them? That's not your issue. Sometimes over small things, is it really worth your mind space? Do you get offended easily, or do you accept people as they are? Do you have preconceived ideas of people without knowing them? Your life's choices are yours. Your mind is your own. Your mind is your own, and what you think is your responsibility. So the boundaries you set are yours. Why do we set boundaries? Because life's experience has taught us lessons on how to keep peace of mind. I really don't want to hear about things like COVID over and over again. Most people learnt their lesson from that experience, and others are growing. So, and I accept that, but it's not a conversation that I get involved in with enthusiasm. I tend to back out because I've been there, I've done that. Someone else might be at that stage, but it just doesn't interest me, that conversation. No, my stance is my responsibility for me alone. And your stance is your responsibility, and your outlook is your responsibility. But I am sharing my contemplation and philosophy on life so I can develop the ministry. I have so much love, acceptance and understanding for people, but everyone needs boundaries and to leave behind what you are not. So if I didn't have boundaries, I'm sure I would not love people so much. My boundaries allow me to pretty much love everyone, and I do. It gets back to what goes on in my mind being up to me and my choice. So you can make life a joy for yourself and others surrounding you if you choose. Nobody's perfect, but we get to choose who we are. Seems it's all about finding the balance. Yes. Work hard, play hard, relax and enjoy. There are positives in almost everything if we choose. We choose to see them. Sometimes negative things happen. So here's my example. I thought, I've never had a kingdom spouse in life, so I thought, I might open myself up to a kingdom spouse. No one knew I was doing this except my bestie. So I was aware of everything. Like, no, couldn't find anything right. Anyway, I decided to take a punt on a gentleman, and it didn't last long, not far into it. We were together, and he's losing the plot about something, and I started laughing. because a grown man losing the plot, not being able to handle things, was funny to me, and I hadn't been around that. But I realised, you know, and he said to me, "Do you find that funny?" And I just said, "Yeah." So never asked why. And I realised it was about control, having control. And being a freedom person, just I realised there was a couple of things that went down, and I realised that this just wasn't my kingdom spouse. But I hold time for this person. You know, we have some mutual friends, and yeah, he's not all bad. I wouldn't have picked him if he was all bad. And we've stayed friends. And we will all continue to develop. So it's all about perspective, how you walk in life and what you leave behind you. So I made a post. The ministry is about you and your direct connection with the Holy Spirit. And that has nothing to do with anyone else. We don't need Bibles. We don't need churches. We don't really need religions. It's just your own thing, your own connection. So I'm thinking that because at this stage I'm the ministry, so what I'd like to incorporate in it is things that have meaning to me. Like I do a lot of home remedies and things like that, and usually because it's stuff that I want. So recently I was travelling out west in Victoria, and it is hot, dry, dusty, and I got home and my skin just felt dreadful. So I decided to look for home remedy treatments, and I make a lot of home remedies, and a lot of them are for things that I need myself. Like I had dry, cracked lips, and I couldn't. None of the chapsticks were working. They weren't staying on long enough. So I decided to make a chapstick. But in the meantime, I ran out of chapstick, and I put my comfrey salve that I make on it, and it healed it overnight. So I made a chapstick that had comfrey and honey in it, and that would stay on and last longer, but still be soft and good to wear, and actually that's been a hit. So a lot of the things that I do still stem from me and what I like to do. I don't often sell my stuff. I tend to give it away. So I'm thinking that the ministry definitely needs someone that's money-minded. So I'm working on the philosophy of the ministry, the mental framework, a constitution, the use of plant medicines, and remedy bows in. But I think also the importance of filling our own cup, so to speak, with things that fulfill you. So those things fulfill me. You know, being in the garden, drying my herbs and my medicines, then and then making things that's a joy to me. It mightn't suit someone else, but that works for me. You know, and filling your own cup, not at someone else's expense, is that causes resentment. And, you know, we don't want bad vibes in life. Let me see. So developing the ministry in this way, we can pour into ourselves enough to give and build a good life together. Visions, developing the ministry. So I've looked at it when to establish a ministry in Australia, accredited ministry. There's several ways you can go about it, and looking at it, I found a charitable foundation to be the best way. So first I have to find the philosophy, and it's important. I have to have a constitution to grow from. Then, because I can't do it myself, I need 3 people to form a ministry by government standards. So, and then how you're going to go about it. So I am seeking tribe and people that are interested in doing this. And I don't know, I thought about it, how would you do it if you had a bit of land that wasn't close to the house? Would you do free camping or something and start with local charities, or for travellers, start with local charities to filter who you have there? I've done a lot of travelling in my motorhome, and if I came across a place like this, I definitely would stop. And if there were opportunities like to learn beekeeping or something, I'd absolutely be in on that. You know, just to have that, you know, and I put in the effort, but really what I would receive is an abundance of honey and beeswax for my products. So, and not only that, skill. So the efforts that we put in, we do receive back out of it. So I definitely stop and learn something like that. You know, I love growing and harvesting own food, all that sort of thing. And I think that's the way that we're heading towards. You know, it's like, I'm not sure at this stage how to fit that into the ministry. Like, I can work out the ministry part, but I think I need people who are also interested to add their bit, so how they would like to go around creating. You know, if they'd be interested in a charitable foundation, if it fits in with their lifestyle. Because, you know, I realise that I'm going to have to, I'll go into a charitable foundation. Right, so if you're registered, all charities and not-for-profits are structured to ensure that all profits, surpluses, are filtered back into the ministry organisation to advance their specific charitable purpose rather than distributing to owners, members or shareholders. That would be those that align with ministry philosophy of connecting with your Holy Spirit. Now, you have to have a board of directors, minimum of 3. Now, a PMA can create, a private members association can create a charitable foundation worldwide. But there may be people out there that maybe have a small plot of land, they're setting themselves up, but anyone that's trying to do it by themselves realise it's hard. So there may be ways that we align that the ministry could help. At this stage, I stand alone, the founding member, the founding minister. Now, once I get established, I can make other ministers. So I can accredit once I'm accredited, I can accredit other ministers with the same outlook. And the ministry can grow. And really, it's something that could just be worldwide. You know, I'm not out to get anything. Everywhere I've been, I've dedicated my life to stuff without pay. I don't need pay. What I'm after is to have a good life and to leave a legacy. So, and if you have travelled, there is nothing like being home in a kingdom you created. And tribe can do this. And at the moment, I'm finding my tribe. So, the ministry, it's important that it's emotionally balanced. We sit in authorities' guidelines, and it's structured to lead in a different direction to how the world is going now. That's about it. That's the end of my notes, what I've got for you today. I'll leave that with you. Keep moving on. I realise that if I'm going to take this worldwide, the ministry goes worldwide, I've got to be prepared to move with it. So I've decided to, I'm not using my motorhome as much. So I've decided to sell it and finance myself to get this off the ground. That's all I've got for now. I'll see you later. Have a good day, everyone.